Long before the walls appeared on the horizon, you would smell the city first. A thick, heavy scent carried on the wind, smoke and decay and life all mixed together. As you walk closer through the dawn mist, the fog parts to reveal narrow streets slick with mud and something darker. This is the medieval world, raw and real, and you're about to step inside it. The gates creak open at sunrise and the city swallows you whole. Peasants with loaded carts, livestock driven through narrow passages, merchants already shouting their wares. The noise is constant, overwhelming. Bodies pressed close in the cramped streets, faces weathered and worn. This is a place built for thousands, packed with tens of thousands. Every inch of space claimed, every breath shared. You can feel the weight of humanity pressing in from all sides. The smell hits you in layers. First the smoke, thick and constant from 1,000 cooking fires. Then the manure, horse and human, flowing through open channels in the streets. Wet wood rotting in the rain, the sharp metallic tang of blood from the butcher stalls, the chemical sting of the tanneries, sweat and unwashed wool pressed close in the crowd. This isn't the sanitized past of storybooks. This is what medieval cities actually smelled like. And it never, ever went away. The medieval city was never quiet. Blacksmiths hammering iron, sparks flying in the darkness of their forges, church bells marking every hour, echoing across the rooftops, market vendors shouting over one another, competing for attention, street performers, musicians, town criers ringing their bells, the clatter of horseshoes on stone, the grinding of cartwheels, the creak of ropes and pulleys lifting cargo. The city was alive with sound, a constant symphony of survival and commerce. There was no escape from the noise. It was the soundtrack of medieval life. To live here meant constant exhaustion. Work began at dawn and ended at dusk, 6 days a week. Bakers with soot-blackened hands pulling bread from stone ovens. Laborers hauling loads that would break modern backs. Families crammed into single rooms, sleeping side by side with little privacy. Disease was everywhere. Fire was always one accident away. Winters were brutal in homes with thin walls and dying fires. But there was also warmth here, laughter around those same fires, children playing in rain-soaked streets. The resilience of people who knew no other life. This was humanity at its most raw, most vulnerable, and most enduring. When the sun set, the city transformed. Torches were lit along the main streets, casting dancing shadows on ancient walls. Taverns glowed warm in the darkness, filled with voices and firelight. But step away from those islands of light, and the city became something else. Dark alleys where danger lurked. Narrow passages where footsteps echoed behind you. Guards patrolled with weapons ready, knowing the night brought out the desperate and the criminal. Heavy bolts were slid into place on every door. The medieval night was not romantic, it was frightening, isolating, and very, very dark. Behind the bustle and the noise, death was never far away. Red crosses painted on doors marked homes touched by plague. Winters took the weak, the young, the old. Hunger was a constant companion for most. One bad harvest, one harsh season, and entire neighborhoods could empty. Life expectancy was brutally short. Childhood mortality was heartbreakingly common. The graveyard outside the city walls never stopped growing. This was the reality beneath the surface. Medieval life was fragile in ways we can barely imagine today. Every day was a victory of survival. But even in all that hardship, there was beauty. Sunlight streaming through stained glass and towering cathedrals, turning stone into heaven. Festival days when colorful banners filled the streets and music echoed from every corner. The quiet pride of craftsmen creating works of art that would outlast them by centuries. The reflection of city walls in the river at sunrise. These people lived hard lives, but they also built wonders. They created culture, art, music, and architecture that still moves us today. They were fully human, dreaming and creating, and hoping just like us. Now we pull away, rising above those ancient streets, leaving behind the sounds and the smells and the life that once filled every corner. The medieval world fades into memory, into history, into the ground beneath our modern cities. We live in a time of comfort they couldn't have imagined, but we've also lost something they had, that raw connection to survival, to community, to the immediate physical reality of existence. They lived in a world that assaulted every sense, every moment, and perhaps in their own way, they were more alive than we can ever understand. The medieval city is gone, but its echoes remain, whispering from the stones, reminding us where we came from.